A priest, a Levite, and a Samaritan are walking to Jericho. But which one will help the injured man along the path? Let's find out. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Tally Talks Bible. You may be asking yourself, what kind of question was that? Well, the characters in that question come from a parable given to us by Jesus in Luke 10:25. Have you ever heard the phrase, to be a good Samaritan? Well, this parable is where that phrase and many others like it come from. Now, for context, the story is that a man who is an expert in the law of the Torah decides to put Jesus to the test. He decides to ask Jesus, what must I do to inherit eternal life? Jesus, in turn, asks him a question. What does the Torah say? What is the law? And the man replies, to love God with all your heart and all your being, and to love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus tells him this is correct. But the man, wanting to push Jesus even further and continue to test him, asks another question. Well, who is my neighbor? So this is where Jesus decides to give him this parable, to tell him this story. The story goes that a man was beaten severely by some robbers and was left on the side of the road to die. So, being left there to die, along the path to Jericho, a priest, a Levite, and a Samaritan all passed by this man. Now, you would think that the priest and the Levite, being a man or men of the Lord, would stop and help this man who's injured, laying dying on the ground. But instead, they pay him no mind and keep going towards their destination to Jericho. It's the Samaritan who instead stops and helps the man. He helps him and nurses him back to health, even puts him up in an inn, and leaves extra money and says, hey, if the man incurs any more expenses, I will take care of them. Now, for context, these people groups back then, they were given their names by their descendants or where they came from, and the Israelites and the Samaritans hated each other, could not stand one another. And according to the Israelites, the only good Samaritan was a dead Samaritan. So this is kind of ironic that Jesus would use the Samaritan, whom the Israelites considered to be bad people, as the good person in the story. So Jesus ultimately wants us to live life and have mercy on those who are, misfortunate and need our help, and just love one another. Well, that's all for now. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. God bless.